Hi everyone, it's Matthew Reinhart. This is another guided tour through one of my books from the past. This is one of my favorite collaborations I've ever gotten to work on. It was very early in my career. This is called Mommy, and this was with the unbelievably talented and legendary Maurice Sendak, who was a friend of mine, and also the great writer Arthur Yorinks. And we all came up with this pop up together, this great collaboration. And it's a story with very few words, and it's about a baby who happens upon a mad scientist lab. Here we are on the first spread, and you can actually see that is a book that's signed by both Maurice and I, so I cherish that one. So you can see all the details that Maurice put into this book. It took about 4 years to create this book. It started in 2002, kind of was off and on. It started off actually, they had asked me to sort of animate some of Maurice's sketches and drawings that already existed. And I said, sure, I'll do that. And then after a while, Maurice said, oh, wait, I'm having so much fun with this. I want to be involved. So he, had me have all these characters moving around. So you can see the mummy there, his eyes move when you pull the tab. And there's the mad scientist as the baby walks into the lab. So there are all these little details everywhere. You can see, and also if you look in the chimney, there is the one of the other. There's the vampire coming down the chimney. And when I was making it with him, where would make the pops from his sort of rough sketches, and then he would go back and just make finalized art. And he did such a beautiful job. And he would always tell me like, "Oh, I know I'm screwing all this up. I know I'm making a mess. I know it's not right." And I was like, "Maurice, everything you're doing is perfect." So it was really great, and I would get to go see him after he would complete each spread out in his house out in Connecticut. So this is a second spread. This is the Nosferatu looking vampire. And Maurice just kind of like went nuts with the backgrounds, like and all the bats and everything. I think he really loved illustrating animals and creatures. And then, so on each spread, there's always like, there's one main pop, and then there's a small side flap on the side that kind of, tells what happens next. And so what does the baby do? He puts a pacifier in the vampire's mouth. Of course he does. So here's spread number 3, and it's Frankenstein. Look how tall and big he gets. He's about to step on the baby because, Frankenstein is, out of control. And the baby asks him, "Mommy?" Look at all the weird stuff like the frog and all the test tubes and just all that stuff. He went into just really filling the backgrounds with tons of details. I love the picture of the baby Frankenstein in the background. He had so much fun doing this. And that weird frog with the antennas, I don't know where that came from. And then, of course, what's the baby do when the Frankenstein comes at him? He pulls the screws out of Frankenstein's neck. And Frankenstein sort of has like a spring that, the Frankenstein's head pops off. Because, of course, those are what the screws keep it in. So this was a lot of fun. There was very weird stuff in the background again. Of course, Maurice did just a beautiful job with the watercoloring and the ink work on this book. This is my favorite spread. This is the 4th spread. This is with the mummy. Now, this one got redone several times over, and now it works so much better. It's so cool because there's like several different V-folds actually making that sarcophagus open with the mummy inside, and there's just so much detail. And there's like a baby sort of skeleton coming out of one of the baskets, and there's cobras and snakes and cats, and I mean, there was just so much. Look at all this detail everywhere. Maurice had so much. There's a snake coming out of the basket. And there's, of course, the Phantom of the Opera kind of peeking in. So much detail everywhere. I think even his dog, at the time, Maurice had a German Shepherd, and I think he put artwork of his dog in as well, somewhere in this spread. But I love just all the colors and the background. The baby looks really, this is the best side pop. So this actually is a twisting, the mummy is being spun all around because the baby has his bandages and is twisting him. Let's see, look at all the people. The Egyptian artwork in the back was so great. Look at the snakes, and oh my God, it was so much fun. This pop-up is the werewolf that's attacking the baby. For some reason, the baby's got onto the roof, and you can see there's sort of the Igor monster and the werewolf, and the werewolf kind of changes too. You can see he goes from having a human nose to sort of and his face animates. You can see his eyes. He changes and gets angry, and his nose kind of flips up. I don't know why. It was just weird, and we just thought it was fun. His mouth opens. There's a lot of animation going on with the characters in this book. I don't know necessarily that I would do some of the engineering in this the way that I did, but now I probably do it better. But it's still a lot of fun. Everything is articulated. And then, of course, what's the baby do? He pulls down the werewolf's pants, and he's wearing some werewolf underwear. Loved this. That was just so funny. And the sort of Igor character is pointing, or the ghoul or whatever that is pointing and laughing and wearing red shoes for some reason. He's wearing ladies' red shoes. Why not? This is the last spread. Now, this is just a big jumble of all the monsters everywhere. So there's the Phantom, there's the Mummy, there's the Nosferatu, there's the werewolf, there's Frankenstein, there's the ghoul kind of guy, and then there's the baby, and he's going, Mommy, and they're all trying to get him, they're all trying to chase him, and they're in the graveyard. This one is just incredible. Look at all that stuff. He made so much new art for this book. Now, we thought initially, like I said, we thought he was just going to give me some old art that was already created, and I was just going to put those characters and make them move, but he went to the trouble of making all brand new art for me and creating this book, and it was just an incredible collaboration for someone like me who is a young artist who really at the time, this was 2004 to 2006, or rather 2002 to 2006, to be able to work with someone like Maurice Sendak was incredible. Now this is kind of a double moving pop-up. So you see the baby in the background, he moves towards, and then there is Mama, and she goes, baby, So the whole time he's looking for Mommy, he doesn't find her. Finally, he finds his Mama, and she finds her baby. And it is the Mrs. Frankenstein. So she kind of rises up from her chair to reach for the baby. There's a lot of articulation going on in this. Having her, look down and the arms up, and having all that move just within that small space. There was a lot of paper engineering in this book that I would never have done without Arthur or Maurice. They inspired me, and hopefully I inspired them, and we made this great book together. And I'm very thankful for it. Hope you've enjoyed this guided tour through Mommy. If you liked it, hit like, and if you want to see more, hit subscribe, and let us know if you have some other books that you'd like me to guide you through. Alrighty, see you next time. Bye-bye.